welcome into the form. We deep dive into the future, our feature racing, I should say, this weekend. And speaking of, we'll be at Rotorua this weekend. We look forward to the ITM Stakes at Group 3 level, as well as the Rotorua Cup and plenty of other action to discuss on the show. So firstly, I say good morning to you, Leith and Aidan. And Leith, usually it's a place that we go to for tourists, but we've got some very good racing on the card this time.
Yeah, look, this time of year, I think we're going to get a better track than we have in the past as well. It doesn't look like rain's going to hit, and obviously there's a few Kiwis in Australia this week. We've got Single Red in the Gold Coast, and Gosford, we've got Swaney's Day. Yep,
also Platinum Pantheon heading around for Lisa Latter as well in the Gold Coast Guineas. So we wish them all well. Yeah, looking forward to Rotorua. Just that weather watch it's that time of year, isn't it? So initially there seemed to be a lot of rain in the forecast. It's sort of peeled back a little bit. There will be some rain heading in, but maybe not as much as planned. So hopefully it's okay, and Waverley looks all right too.
Yeah, it certainly does, and a man that'll be happy about that is you, Bevan Sweeney. Good morning to you. Looking forward to Waverley on a Saturday.
Yeah, morning team. Great for the Waverley Racing Club to get a Saturday meeting, and who would think good for at this time of year, duck shooting time. So surprised that it's in that state. They might have to put some water on because there's no real rain forecast across the next couple of days as well. But I think we're going to be racing on a pretty firm sort of deck at Waverley on Saturday.
And usually you won't be saying that this time of year, but great to see as we have a look what is coming up on the show that we'll be discussing. And we start with those features out of Rotorua, as we said, the ITM Stakes and the Rotorua Cup. Having a look at the open features at Waverley, we've got our usual segments, our trial files, our bank builders, our black bookers, then yes, heading across the Tasman to look at Gosford and the Gold Coast, and we round things out with our best bet. So let's crack into it, see what the weather and track conditions are doing officially this upcoming weekend. Leith, what is it looking like?
Look, there looks like a little bit of rain maybe on Saturday, Pip, but at the moment we're sort of racing on a good soft 5, and look, the last 7 days there's only been 1 mil of rain, so the rain hasn't turned up. Early in the week it looked like there was going to be a lot of rain, so look, it's going to be interesting if we do get out to that sort of heavy track.
Yeah, I can't see it getting that bad just from what we've seen. There might be somewhere between 10 and 20 mils, but not sort of the 30s and 40s that was spoken about earlier on. But, you know, we've been to some pretty wet Rotorua Cup days over the years. It'd be great to see it sort of run on a mid-range slow track.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, we think of last year with Tomodachi won it. As we take a look at the market this year, race number 8 on the program, Kitty Flash is your favourite here at $3.70 from Churchillian at $9. Now, you love some value swings. Can you see it in the market with a dominant favourite?
Well, if Kitty Flash doesn't get across and get an easy sort of sit on speed, then they're all value across the book, aren't they? I think for Rainfell, you could probably have some on Honey Badger. I think Bedtime Story at double figures is okay. My Lips Are Sealed comes in a fresh straight at $10. Boys, the map is absolutely vital in this year's Cup.
Yeah, obviously we haven't got a rider down for Churchillian at the moment. She looks like just a natural leader from barrier 2. Kitty Flash is sort of a little bit tricky out in that sort of gate 15. They'll be positive. My Lips Are Sealed. Honey Badger's got no rider down at the moment as well. So she's another one who's going to go forward. And, you know, you got those horses, Bedtime Story and Preview, are going to sort of sit that midfield spot.
Yeah, Merchant Queen's another one who does add to that pressure. There does look to be enough pressure here, but I agree. Churchillian, My Lips Are Sealed, Kitty Flash should go forward. Nigella Lane can probably take up some sort of position 3 or 4 back the fence from a good inside draw.
Okay, so that's how the team think the race will set up. Now we're going to rewind the clock back, take you back to last year's running of the race, where you see Bedtime Story here, Bevan, really nice and behind the eventual winner, Tomodachi, finding the line, and she's come in with the same prep coming through that Anzac Mile.
Look, she's been going really, really well, all preparation, hasn't she? She hasn't had a lot of luck. She's always needed some cut out of the track. She'll get that on Saturday. She sort of settled midfield on the fence. Atmospheric got the beautiful run through and scored nicely. I didn't think she was far off them. She should be okay clearly at Rotorua. Okay if rain does fall. She's got to be some value at $10, lads.
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, last season she came out of barrier 7 as well. I think probably you take Tomodachi out, the winner. The sort of the shape of the race seems about the same sort of field. I thought she was probably overs at that sort of 10 to 1 chance.
I think maybe this year's a little bit stronger, maybe not the top end level depth of right. Tomodachi, but Shantae Moir, who was 4th last year, is balloted this year. So that says something. And Shantae Moir's won 4 of 17, was terrific last time out. It's just a shame that she's not getting a go here. On that form lines of Bedtime Story, it comes around this sort of Kitty Flash sort of references from from the last time round, and Kitty Flash I thought was terrific. Just has a trickier barrier draw this time round though.
Yes, she does. Well, you mentioned Kitty Flash. Let's hear from Andrew Forsman how she's going towards this weekend.
Going really well. Probably just needed that runner touch the other day. Just did a little bit of work to sit outside lead and just was vulnerable late, but she'll have improved forward and hopefully the track's reasonable. That'll be the key.
How's she come through the run and what's that enabled you to do training-wise?
She came through it really well. I think as she's gotten older, typically they take maybe an extra run to get there and get to peak fitness. So we're hopeful that, with the work we've done in between times, she'll be ready.
What can we expect from her this weekend?
I think if the track's reasonable, I think the race shape suits. She'll jump, put herself right on speed, and I think that should be suitable. So I think she'll be very competitive. Just track conditions will be the factor.
And here's the race you spoke of as well, Aidan, with them beating home here. Kitty Flash, obviously bedtime story, finishing 5th in the City of Napier sprint, and it was a really nice run, Leith, too.
It was. They went hard enough up front, so it sort of left those back markers a better chance to run home. Look, she's going to improve off this run for sure. Just the gate's a little bit niggly, but she does have enough gate speed to go forward and put herself in a handy position.
Yeah, and exactly in saying the same thing. Bedtime Stories had to come wide, cover ground, and was a pretty meritorious run as well, and has then had the benefit of another run. But Kitty Flash, I think this is her sweet spot in terms of distance. This is, I think she is really a 1400 metre horse. So she's got quality. She's a Group 1 performer, but with real potency here, just despite that barrier draw, Bevan.
Oh, that's a big niggle, isn't it? It really is a big niggle. If rain comes, it is a big niggle. And look, I thought Bedtime Story and even Ra Reza were the match of her performances on the day. I think Ra Reza really comes into it with a little bit of rain if it does fall at Rotorua on the weekend. So I'm not sure that price is where I'd be comfortable with, especially with a fair bit of quality in this race, and the rain may be coming or maybe not coming. Just wouldn't be touching that price. I'd be speccing some double-figure prices in this race.
Yeah, and seeing if she does just move out closer to the race if you're with Kitty Flash. What about Stephen Marsh? He's got 2 runners in the race, Bourbon Empress and Merchant Queen. Let's see how they're going.
Yep, Bourbon Empress will be fresh into this. Look, she's going to improve, but she's had a couple of little niggling issues, so we had to put her out. So she's in a funny time, but she's had the 2 trials. I liked her last trial. Hopefully the rain stays away. If she could sort of draw a soft gate, sort of land just there or just in behind the speed, I think she'd be a chance, but we'll just take that touch of improvement.
Okay, and Merchant Queen?
Yeah, look, she's backed up a couple of weeks in a row. She's been going good. She ran a 75.12, was caught wide. 75.14 last Saturday was very good running second, didn't get many favours. Look throughout the stumps, and we'll look at probably selling her at the end of this preparation.
Who's impressed you more with the build-up on the training track?
I think going into it, fitness-wise, Merchant Queen's going to have the real edge, backing up 2 weeks in a row, and if we do get a touch of rain, might help her. Hard to sort of split them. I think Bourbon Empress, on paper's the better mare and the better credentialed mare, but I think Merchant Queen strips a lot fitter.
Okay, push for Merchant Queen from Stephen, but there is Bourbon Empress in this trial behind Nigella Lane, who loves Rotorua as well. Nigella Lane, Leith.
Yeah, Bourbon Empress, she's going to need a lot of luck from the draw. She needs probably a better track. The track's improving. Nigella Lane, she was massive here. I thought she was tried up really well. Obviously, she's had 4 starts at Rotorua for 2 wins. She likes the track. And she gets a nice soft draw where Michael can just sort of posse just not too far off them.
Yeah, gorgeous trial from a mare who we know's got the quality, was actually winning the Cup this day last year, so now drops back to the 1400 metres, but was one of the thoroughbred breeders earlier on, freshened up, but has won 2 of 4 at the track, 3 of 7 on a heavy track, so no worries if the rain does come, but she's equally potent on top of the ground. So I really like her here from a good barrier draw. I thought it was a terrific trial, Bevan.
I can't believe the price. Can you lads believe the price with the record this horse has got on these sort of track conditions? I think if you were going to go through the body of work, this is the class act of the field, getting in here at weight for age, races well fresh, races well here. Michael McNabb's aboard, got a nice inside gate. The trial was massive. It was actually really good behind afternoon siesta and a lightning quick run race off a forward position at Trentham before it went out for a quick spell. Double figures, that's really interesting to me, Nigella Lane.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be starting at that, but watch this space if you like Nigella Lane. Then we've got In Preview, who's also sitting in the market at a great price. Let's hear from Taylor Mitchell, who rides, just how well she's going.
Yeah, she's had a little freshen up now, so she trialled up really good, so she'll be fit and ready.
Yep. Have you been on her back in training since then?
Not since her trial, but I was really impressed with her trial at Te Awamutu.
Yeah. How competitive can she be this weekend, do you think?
Yeah, I think she'll be really competitive. She always goes a good race fresh up, and I think even if the rain's around, she handled the track the other day at Te Awamutu, so she should go good.
You've heard there, Taylor impressed with the trial. She's a quality mare coming out of stakes races last time at Ellerslie.
Yeah, she's underrated too. She always sort of, she never goes a bad race. Look, 2 years ago she ran third to Carmen Line in this race as well, so she likes the track. She's another one you can spec at that good price as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the trial was good. It was a little bit slower than Nigella Lane's, roughly about 5 lengths slower, but remember her running second to Conasana in that $600,000 Westbury Classic that day, beat home horses like Jaffe and things. So, and like you speak about, she's run some really good races in good company, and yeah, the trial was enough to say that she can be potent here as well.
Okay, another trainer we need to hear from, generally can tip us into a win or two, is Tony Pike. He's got 3 chances in. Let's see how they're going.
Yeah, look, obviously it's getting towards the end of the season. They deserve their chance at one of the last black type fillies and mares races at the end of the season. And yeah, look, they're all racing in good enough form, and yeah, they should all run well.
Chichillian obviously has the benefit of tactical speed. How has she done since last time?
Yeah, obviously we tried to stretch out to the mile on the Easter. She ran well, but probably just knocked up the last sort of 100 metres trying to stretch her out to the mile, although she'd won the Thompson handicap. I think back to 1400 metres will suit. Probably like a lot of the fillies and mares, all depends on the weather on the weekend. Obviously there's a fair bit of rain forecast Friday and Saturday, so look, she doesn't want it too wet. She'd handle a genuine soft, but any worse than that we could be in a bit of trouble. But look, she's been racing really consistently all season, and this will be her last run of this preparation.
One who won't mind it wet's Honey Badger. Terrific return last time out. Was that expected?
Yeah, it was. Obviously she's got great wet track form. She was definitely forward enough off her barrier trials to be competitive fresh up, and obviously going to take a lot of improvement from that. Big step up to obviously weight for age grade. She's probably not that well off at the handicaps. Obviously first time in open company, but looks like a nice race for her if the rain arrives. If it becomes very testing, then that'll bring her right into the race.
Yep. What about her training and lead up to this? How's she gone here at Cambridge?
Galloped on Tuesday morning with Michael aboard and really worked well. I think she's improved a lot off that fresh up run, and yeah, look, she's just a really promising mare who loves wet tracks. I don't normally have many wet trackers, but she's one of the few really genuine ones. So as I said, if that rain arrives, she'll be right in it.
Yep. And Thuza, how's she going?
Yeah, look, she's just knocking on the door of Stakes Company. I think she trialled really well at Te Awamutu last week. Good spacing between runs, and yeah, look, I think back left-handed she'll run a cheeky race on Saturday.
Yep. Of the trio, who's the one you were going into it with the most confidence for?
Oh, look, it's probably tough. Chichillian, obviously, she's probably better rated at weight for age grade, but look, the other two are coming through the grades. I think Honey Badger will run a big race if the rain arrives.
Yeah, real rain watch on Honey Badger, but what about Churchillian? Aiden does look a good chance, as Tony said.
Yep, Group 3 winner, so proven at this. Gets forward, has won the only start at Rotorua. No problems on a wet track, but probably better on a good track. So, yeah, like if they don't go too hard here, that's probably her big chance.
Well, he's got 2 good chances, and obviously if it does rain, Honey Badger comes into it, and Churchillian from barrier 2, she's going to be leading, and if the fence is still okay by that time of the day, she's in each wage plants.
Okay.
I think Tony summed up the chances of his horses really, really well. So there's nothing much to add apart from the fact that, as he mentioned, as you boys mentioned, there's $16 available on Honey Badger. If you're willing to take the punt that there is going to be rain around, you'll be in gold if it does rain, because it'll end up running $5, $6.
Get your crystal ball out and see what that sort of track's going to be doing as far as the weather goes. There's just one more trainer that we do want to catch up with, and that is Margaret Falconer. She's got, of course, Machino. Let's see how she's going.
Yeah, look, she's come through Saturday's run really well, so we'll push on, have a go at Rotorua, and then that's be the end of our season for her.
Sectionally terrific again on the weekend. When you went back and assessed it, what was your reflection?
Oh, look, I thought she was really good over the 1200. It was a really good run. She made a long run, and yes, she's going really well.
Yep. She's been building to this point. She certainly deserves a crack. How competitive do you think she can be?
Oh, look, it's probably at the end of the season, but she's improved all especially since Christmas. She's really strengthened up, so I think she's going really well, and yeah, sort of looking forward to next season with her.
Good chance, and that was Margaret Faulkner. Apologies, as we need selections now for the feature. Leith, who's it for you?
Very strong field. There's a number of chances. We've gone through them all. Kitty Flash, if she's just had drawn it a little bit closer, I probably would have had her on top, but I'm just going for a bit of value. Bedtime Story. Getting that nice play of $10, $3.30 a place. Musser on this week as well. I think he'll suit her.
I've gone with Nigella Lane. Just this is her time of year. The question is she sharp enough for 1,400 metres? But her 1,400 metre record's actually really good too. So loves it all to do. I just think she's got the class, and at weight for age level, you know, you look at a horse like Machina, who ran so well last time, is up 6 kilograms from handicap company. So yeah, that's where Nigella Lane's big advantage is, I think, Bevan.
I'll have to be honest, I've done a quick pivot after watching that trial again on Nigella Lane. I've been with 5, I think, in this field and had to change. I'm going to go with Nigella Lane, who I think is the class act in the field, gets in nicely at weight for age against this field McNabb aboard. Inside gate, we'll see if that's going to be any assist or negative by this time of the day, but that trial was massive, loves it here. Rain wouldn't worry. I'll go with Nigella Lane eventually, but...
Okay, I like it. I think either way it shows it's a very good betting race with plenty of chances as we move now to the Rotorua Cup race number 7 on the programme, sponsored by the infrastructure here, Campbell Infrastructure. Savoir Faire favourite $4.20, narrowly ahead of Lotus, and then you're getting out to Pacifico at $7. So interesting market and pretty open this year's running, Bevan.
Oh, this is probably just as difficult as the previous. I didn't really know where to look. I thought there's some value on Blue Sky at Night. I think Drop of Something's run was better than a ducky behind Lupo Solitario, and if there was some rain around, that'd bring that horse right into it. But even Pacifico at 7 seems to be some value. And look, I think the 2 favourites are deserved. It's just price point for you sitting at home, what sort of price you want to take.
Look, the map looks pretty easy. Can't Harder from Barrier 1 looks a natural leader. Pacifico from the outside gate, he's another one who's going to go forward. And if Opera Bell gets in, look, she won at this stage last year on a really heavy testing track. So if she gets in, she's some chance of sort of being on the speed as well. And Mighty Diva comes up from the Rickon stable of Andrew Carson's.
Yeah, I just think Pacifico gets across without doing too much work. Barrier 16 is really not that bad, I don't think. Can't Hunter looks the likely leader. And then you've got, you know, those other horses. I think Perfect Man's can probably take up a spot. Pure Bars, if it doesn't, you know, another horse who could add to the depth of speed, you know, should it get in off the balance.
Okay, so we've got Pacifico mapped handy, and that was the case last start in the Hawke's Bay Cup. Let's hear from Andrew Forsman how he's been since.
He's going really well. I thought it was a very game run, bit of a muddling race last start. He just sort of was in front, didn't quite dictate how we wanted to. I think he'll have improved for it. He came again at the end of it, so that gives us confidence he'll run out the 2200. He won't be as well off at the weights this time around, which is a bit of a negative, but very happy with how he's going.
Yep. What about training? What have you asked of him leading in?
Yeah, he had a good solid gallop on the back sand on Tuesday morning, so he's as fit as we can have him. I think with the benefit of that run at Otaki, he should be spot on.
And here is the race. Andrew summing it up beautifully. When he got the lead, they came past him. He's come back and he's finished off nicely to beat a handful of rivals.
He never goes a bad race, this horse, either. He handles most track conditions. You know he's going to be up there somewhere on the speed. And look, the handicap's got him a little bit. Obviously being second top weight with 57, top weight of 58. But look, he never goes a bad race, and I think he's really well placed in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Savoir Faire I thought was terrific, and a race that did favour those on speed I thought was very, very good. You go back into the form lines, beat home Slovakia a couple of starts back, and trialled okay at Te Awamutu last week in the lead up to this too. So I thought that was maybe the improver there. And do we give He's a Shocker a bit of a forgive from back in the field, because the run before at Ellerslie was pretty good?
Yeah, I think he probably looks to me that he needs a better track. Obviously, if it comes back, first time he showed a bit of form was at Ellerslie on that good surface.
Yeah.
I haven't got a lot to add apart from the fact he looks pretty... Look, he's a tough little bugger, there's no doubt about it, Pacifico. But he looks the sort of horse that's sort of one pace. He'll keep rolling. So he'll have to be reading positively from that particular gate. He probably sets it up for others to get across the top of them. But look, just on the evidence of that, he's a pretty tough sort of horse. Donnybrook came out of that race and one got well back, so it was on speed on that occasion. So, yeah, if they roll, I'd be quite keen at the price around Pacifico.
Okay, and then another contender we have is Blue Sky at Night, and a lady with a very good association with her, of course, is Taylor Mitchell. Let's see what she thought of the Travis Stakes run last start.
I got a little bit further back than I thought I would. I thought I was going to be able to get in, but she still ran up to her merit, and I think hopefully we get a good draw and a nicer run than the other day, and she should be in it.
How's your training been since then?
Yeah, it's been really good. Mum gave her a gallop yesterday, and she said she galloped good, so... No, very happy.
Always good to have Mum on, just helping out as well. What are your expectations? How does it pan out? Can you sit a little bit closer this time around, do you think, if you get a decent draw?
Oh, I think it all just depends on the draw with her at the moment. When she gets a good draw, you can kind of half push her out and get her up there, but it's just whether she's an awkward horse if you draw out, whether you're going to get in if you go forward.
Well, they would have been happy, Leith, when the draws come out and they've drawn barrier 6. She looks a key chance.
Yeah, she does. Look, she's been a tad disappointing for mine a little bit. Like, this wasn't an overly strong race, and at the set weights here, I thought she was going to just, put in a bit more of an effort. She's a little bit hard to catch, but on her best day, she's up to winning this race on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know how good she is, with the, Waikato Cups and
she's
good
rising
races,
9 now, though. She's getting on a little bit.
She's been out of the winner's circle for a little while too. So Lotus was clearly superior here. Drops a little.
She
bit
won't know
further
herself
as
for 54 kilos this week.
Exactly. So on that score, you'd probably have to favour Lotus, who's really good on the clock too. Ran the second quickest last 8, 6 and 4, the quickest last 200 of that race too. So. Yeah, Blue Sky at Night, you can't say no, but just maybe not quite so well suited.
Well, Lotus ran about a 5 or 6 rating point top for her on that occasion, so it was a little bit out of the blue, but it was a hard performance to ignore. Did like the last bit of work from Blue Sky at Night to just change that leg and found the line really, really strongly. So in another tough race, I think I'm going to stick with Shelley Hale. I think if it's going to be again, it's going to be on Saturday for Blue Sky at Night. Haven't minded the runs. I do agree with Leith, and I'm probably not up to a peak, but I just think if there's a sense of timing and a spot at 54 kilos with a nice soft draw, Blue Sky at Night should be putting something in on Saturday.
Look, I'm going to go Pacifico. Andrew Folsom, trained horse. Look, best thing about him, he's had 2 starts on the track for a win and a placing in Horses for Course at Rotorua. I know he's got 57, awkward gate, but I think he can win at a good price.
I was torn between those two, between Savoir Faire, Pacifico. I've landed with Savoir Faire with the better barrier draw, and I just think maybe just going into this a little bit better last time round. He's a shocker's run third in a McKinnon Group 1 level. Great to see him back in New Zealand. I just don't think we can write him off here.
No.
He chased home Khan Hunter a couple of starts back, but he's in 3 kilograms better, so I just don't think we can write him off here.
Write them off at your peril. As we concentrate now on the first race we want to have a look at, the 3-year-old here, over the 1,400 metres, where Tiante heads up the betting at $4.20 ahead of Midnight Train and Arthur. Really nice race, Leith, to kick off the program. Who did you like in it?
T and Ty. I just thought first race, inside gate, muscle on. Last start was massive at Ellerslie, so it doesn't have to. It's an even enough field, but I'm happy with the $4.20.
Yep, going really nicely, and she's a talented mare for sure. This is it's a really messy map here as well, so it's open for a rider taking this race with a scruff of the neck. I went with Midnight Train. You're coming out of a terrific second placing last time out in the Group 2 Wellington Guineas. Wellington Guineas form's good. We saw that last week with Vegas Queen, so no problems there. So Midnight Train for me.
I think there's a bit of meat on the bone with the favourite, don't you, boys of Philly? She was massive last time in a really nice field. I was impressed with that. Think might start under the $4 mark. I'm going with Tiantai, but there is some nice ability in this race, so it looks a little prone for an upset in the same breath.
One horse who trialled really well is, if you saw the trial of Arthur, boy, that was a trial. That was, it has made up many lengths at Te Awamutu last week. Looks as though it would be ready to go.
Okay, well, there might be a race for a same race multi or something. And speaking of, we need the best of the rest, Leith.
Race 2, Parent Sangway, the O'Sullivan Scott train runner. Look at barrier 9. I had a map to sort of sit outside the leader. $3.80. I'm happy to be on.
Gone the same race actually. I think maybe I've saved that one for later on. Morning Coco, who I did like from last time out, ran really well for second at Ellerslie last time out. It looked like the run of a next up winner, so just sits really nicely in that race.
War Queen, surely getting a little bit of expensive on the pocket, to be honest with you, but War Queen third up, George Rook, good gate, Curtis Pertab, War Queen.
Okay, that's what you should be following out of Rotorua. From there, we are going to take a break. Don't go far, though. We'll be concentrating in on Waverley off the other side. Welcome back into to the form. It's time for our trial files. Yes, the boys have been out at the trials finding you horses to follow. Leith, who's the one for you?
Jim Collett, train runner, Scalaria. Look, daughter Sam rides it, and by all accounts it's going to be running next week at Ellerslie in a 75 1100 metre race. Look, she was just a nice little track gallop here. This is a horse, she's never gone a bad race. Look, last start she got knocked over at Ellerslie, and I think in two weeks' time, Scalera will be winning.
Yep, really nicely handled too by Jim Collett. When he gets a good one, he does a good job. There's no question about that. For me, I went to Riccarton Trials on Monday. It was taken in by this horse, Baltic Sea, who was able to get to the front. Scores nicely. There's a big margin to the second, big margin to third as well, and one to watch out for at upcoming Christchurch meetings.
Yeah, certainly under a nice hold there down the straight. Easy. Saturday. I really like this horse, Joe Rathbone. I like the control because it sat back early, and every time Lily just asked this horse to quicken up a little bit more, horse responded. Derek's to its outside. That's come out around second and third at its first two starts as preparation. By Circus Maximus, just like the style of this horse, and I think it'll be competitive in a tough race, to be fair, Saturday race number 6.
Here you go. This is our summary. Scalera for Jim Collett. She's been very good to us on the form, so make sure you follow her. Baltic Sea and Izzy. Those are your trial files for the week. From there, we're concentrating on our second domestic meeting this weekend, and it's at Waverley Bevan, and it sounds like we're going to have a beautiful track there as well.
Yeah, well, I sent out Lash's pigeons this morning to try and find out further information, and I actually got sent back a photo, I won't put it up, of a dairy farmer's track, and it's pretty dry. So it's dry there in the Waverley. There was a suggestion they're going to put some water on. I haven't spoken to Colin, but at this stage it's good for... The range completely disappeared for Waverley, so 10 races there. We're underway early, Pip, at 10 past 11. So the natives will be restless by about 2:30.
They certainly will be, and I want to have a look at that photo. But for now, we've got to concentrate.
It might not be of a dairy farm, that's all.
Exactly.
Yeah, better take the right part of the phone.
Okay, let's have a look here at the Open 2200 metres, where Rusty Lane is our favourite, backed into from $2.80. Kick-on's a mover as well, and a bozo with a couple of scratchings in this race. Right, let's have a look at Rusty Lane is our favourite, who won at Woodville last time, and this was a really good effort too, and 59 kilos this time comes back in the weights.
Yeah, obviously gets into this race with 53.5 with Amber's claim on as well, and this is a horse that sort of once it gets to sort of top sort of fitness levels, it holds its form, makes a pretty winnable race here. Look, we got horses in there rated 62 down, 59, 59, 50, so it's certainly a winnable race for Rusty Lane this week.
Yep, really nice win. Good run from Kick On behind. Maybe Taimari Diva expected more, but maybe they go to Rotorua here with Taimari Diva. Boy, Bozo's presence in this race has really changed the context of it, just all these horses dropping so much in weight.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Bozo's there. Maybe the Rotorua Cup might have been somewhere where Bozo would have been really competitive, but he's a better trainer than me. Firm Track cuts Bozo out, doesn't it? Cuts a few of these out. Rusty Lane was really good that day, got re-rated 4 points. He's been a hard horse to place, but look, with 54.5 on his back, I'm not sure if Andy can ride that 53.5. He'll be very, very competitive. Just want to hark back to that race. Procol Boy was really disappointing, well bet on the day. He did race as a tied horse and has been turned out. So there was reasons behind Procol Boy being very expensive out of that video replay.
Yeah, look, I'm with you as well. Rusty Lane, I thought it'd be winning the race. Look, there's only going to be probably 7 runners go round. Amber will get a nice, probably sit outside leader or lead. 53.5 kilos, I think, one of the better bets of the day.
Yep, and obviously this is a horse who's got a proven record on better tracks. So, yep, no problems with me either. I'm with Rusty Lane too.
Okay, everybody with Rusty Lane. Now we're moving on to the Open 1400 metres here, where Mr. Mojo Rising heads the betting at $3.30. So from River Plate at $5.50, and then Bell Tribute at $6. So a little bit of an open affair as we highlight River Plate beats a couple of rivals, Bellado Boy and Kapua here last time. Small field, a lot of them across the line there, but did enough to hold them out, Leith.
Yeah, interesting that Bellado Boy gets Jonathan on this week. Carries his top weight of 62 kilos. he's a great horse and he loves the heavy track. He's not going to receive that this week, so I can't have him on my ticket. Cornello's another one in the race. Amber's on this week. River Plate's fit. Just on the better track. I'm sort of just leaning probably towards Mr. Mojo Rising though.
Yep, River Plate obviously comes on a kilogram better this time round as well. Has handled a better track in the past, does look hard fit, and has beaten home Corpor in the last couple of runs. So, that's the way I went. But obviously, Mr. Mojo Rising's an interesting runner. Should be a quick improver second up. Yep.
Oh, this race tormented me because Kippo was great in the video you just saw. And sectionally was probably second best in the race behind the Atmospheric. But he's at 1,400 metres. He's got feet like dinner plates, and if it's really, really firm, probably gets run off his feet. So it was hard to know. I went with Bell Tribute, actually. I think if it is going to be firm, this is the horse that is really suited by the firm track conditions. Good inside gaze, can probably sit on speed at Waverley, which can be a big key. There's a few here looking for a little bit more rain. With 54 kilos on its back, I thought it'd be pretty dangerous at a decent sort of each way.
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Mojo Rising. I think Kelly from Barrier 4 can get an easy sort of lead or sit outside leader. He'll be a big improver for his last start run.
Yeah, tricky race. I went with River Plate, but without a lot of conviction here.
Okay, so that's what everybody is liking in the open races. We do need something else to bet, though, on the program list. So who should we follow?
I thought the ex-Northern horse, Kylie Hoskins, Mr. Marigold, look, good first up. You're getting $9 and $3 in race 7. I thought it was a bit of a value play in the race.
Race 5's a big open field, but one who's been unlucky, Jager, from the former stable of Robbie Patterson. So I'm there with Jager. You, Bevan?
Oh, you nicked Jager off me, but I think Jager will need rain to be really, really competitive, and you're right, was really unlucky at Whanganui, should have won. I'm going to go with Kapachi. I think she should have won her last start at Otaki. With a little bit more luck, there was nothing Craig could have done in the run. The only concern for me is she was supposed to go down south and go over 2,000 metres. She ended up not being there along with Jager, but she is a very, very good mare. Fresh state, good gate, Kelly Myers. I think she can get across the top in the race number 5. So we're head-to-head, Rod?
Okay, so one more for Kapachi up against Aiden, and that does complete our look at Waverley. We're going to take another break here on the form, and then we're concentrating in on those Kiwis heading across to Australia.
I'll take you all the way, boy, just come along. Hear me when I say,
Pleasure to have your company here on the form. Now, before we concentrate in on our Kiwis trying to take the Aussie spoils, we've got our black bookers for you to follow this week. As always, Leith, you're up first. Who was a little bit unlucky for you?
A little bit unlucky. Probably wasn't going to beat the winner. Pippins are far. Tiaka got this right with the listed win first up, the Snitzel Colt. Final time just had no luck in behind them. Should have run a clear second. Tina was, look, the horse over-raced early, never got a clear run up the straight. She's one to watch coming up for the 3-year-old season next year for sure. You see her there, she's just never had a decent crack at them the whole way up the straight. There was gaps either side, and we just got stuck in behind Opie, and Opie was on fire on the weekend.
Yep, he had a good day. Nice performance too from a really nice filly final time. Horse down the outside here in the white cap specialty. Boy, sectionals were really off the clock. Was definitely on pattern. It was a race where the swoopers were advantaged, but man, this horse can really sizzle home, and on this performance must be close to them next time round.
What was the winner then?
The winner was Toronto. I think that might have been a best bet, was it? Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, your best bet too. There you go.
Finally.
South Park.
Mutual backslapping. What's going on here? I'm taking a real different look at this. The Bambino jumping season's coming. Lord Spencer wins this race, but this is the fresh up performance from the Bambino. It will win a big jumping race in those very famous Nelson and McDougall colours this season. Really nice performance. Hey, what did you boys make about the little bit of info that came out? Is it Nedwin that's had to be retired due to age restrictions? Look, there's a couple of differing opinions on this. I'm pretty sure it's Nedwin, has to be retired because of its age, and that's apparently an animal welfare issue with NZTR, and although they've tried some other things around it, they've just been told no, cannot race going forward.
Yeah, I don't know who makes these rules, but I'd put my faith in Paul Nelson before other people deciding how old you can run a horse. Paul's a champion trainer, as we all know, and he's not going to run a horse just for the sake of it.
Yeah, it used to be 13, didn't it? Wasn't it like there's a horse, a Tasmanian horse, or one of those like Mustard or something that was winning races as a 13-year-old on the flat only a few years back. So this is a rising 12-year-old Ned, when I hadn't actually caught up with the story, so I wasn't aware. But you know, certainly I know there's got to be welfare rules in place, but yeah, like you say, these trainers who really know and look after
my
the
trust in
horses.
the trainers first.
Should be aspects that come into it, I think, you know,
Yeah, for
vets,
sure.
etc. Okay, but we are concentrating on our black bookers, and I'm taking you back to Te Rapa with the Cosmic Dream here for the James Wellwood stable. I thought her run in the race, I mean, she didn't get any favours, she was drawn wide, she stuck wide in the running, up on the speed. For her to stick on nicely for third back and fresh, I thought this was a really good effort. Wouldn't be surprised if you even see her maybe have a start on the synthetics trial there, so follow Cosmic Dream.
Next week, Ellerslie Pip.
Oh, there you go. Next week at
1300
Ellerslie.
metres,
Yeah,
rating
jockey's
65.
sticking with clearly here. Thank you very much.
George
Getting all the
Rock on too.
information today. Right, from there, sounds like one of his jockeys will be keeping with. Anyway, we're heading across the Tasman, and we've got two meetings to concentrate in on, Gosford and the Gold Coast. Firstly, Gosford, because we do see Sway Wednesday here in the Takeover Target Stakes as a $7 prospect, in from $9 too. A little bit of specking around the runner in this race, and does look a great chance. Let's hear from Roger James how the travel has been across the Tasman.
Look, he went over on Monday night and has lobbed straight into the routine very easily. He's got a great attitude to life and had a trot and canter yesterday morning, and that's all he's got to do all week. He was ready when he left here.
Yep. His main work was that last week?
Yeah, on Monday morning he had his final gallop and worked nicely, but yeah, he was pretty ready when he left here, really.
Okay, it's obviously it's a trip aimed at some pretty big targets, but what about this weekend as a lead-up? What do you want to see from him?
I'd like to see him run well. He has got 59. We don't know his draw yet, but you know, probably a little bit more weight than what we envisaged that he would have, but you don't know that until you see the noms, and it's normally a fair reflection on the field, so I suppose he deserves it. But the main runs are in Brisbane. We're undecided which run we'll run him in after here, but the Stradbroke's the main aim.
And let's have a look at him at Ellerslie, taking out the Group 3 Kings Plate. I mean, we know he's a serious sprinter. He's won 6 from 10, and great that they're taking on Aussies.
It might have been a fraction lucky to win this race, but look, this is a really nice race for him. I thought it's worth 300,000, takeover target listed race. Hard to see, he comes up with gate 11, but I think the start before this is probably what we want to be watching. Geez, I just feel Mr. Kelso having another nightmare there. Turn that off.
Play it afterwards.
Look, he's a really underrated sprinter. 2 starts ago, he was third to Jigsaw, only beaten a length and a half, and if Jigsaw was in this race, he'd be going around at $1.50.
Yeah, his form next to Jigsaw is and obviously Jigsaw's gone on, won Group 1s, gone on, won a Quokka and things, so he's going super, this horse, and he just seems to be the right horse for it.
Yeah.
And I just don't think this is a strong addition to this race. It's beautifully placed by Roger and Robert, and hopefully it's a springboard to him going on to be really competitive in Queensland, where I think they'll have a Group 1 lead into the Stradbroke. If he wins them both, you know, he's going to be putting his hand up for, you know, to be talked about at the end of the year.
Yeah, look, I'm off him as well. I thought he was overs at 9s, he's into 7s now, and obviously a little bit of a tricky gate, but good jockey on Andrew Adkins.
Okay, from New South Wales, we're taking you to Queensland, the Gold Coast, where we see our little friend Single Red on the form. She's been good to us lately, $3.60 into $2.80 in the Gold Coast bracelet. So she's the favourite for the listed race from Spicy Lou at $6.50, and then Nightline pushing out to $7. Aiden did catch up with Andrew Forsman. Let's see what the travel's been like across.
She headed over Sunday, obviously flew into Sydney and then up to the Gold Coast. She settled in very well. So the travel went nicely. It's a bit of a tough trip for them, but she's coped with it really well.
How'd she come through the Te Rapa win?
In really good order. She obviously went into it with improvement. She was a little bit fresh on the day, had to do a little bit of work early, so I thought she was pretty strong given how it all unfolded.
Obviously, there's a Group 1 target at the end of this, so what about this weekend? What are you wanting to see from her?
Just a good solid run to sort of prove to us that she's up to these fillies over there. You never quite know. We suspect that what she's showing us here in New Zealand, she should be good enough. But again, just want to see that she can go over there, adapt to their pattern of racing and run well.
Let's hope she can. This was a really nice win from her, and the step up to the 1800 metres looks ideal.
Yeah, no, it was a nice ride by Craig, and it's great to see Craig retaining the ride as well. He's had a great season, and this could really knock it off if he wins this and then backs up in the Oaks a couple of weeks' time. So it's great for OTI to have trust in New Zealand jockey, because it's normally goes the other way. So look, it's good for Andrew. He travels his horse as well, and this is a good strong win.
Yeah, probably not her at an absolute peak, but yeah, like you say, it's a beautiful ride from Craig Grills. Some really nice runs in behind him. But you go back into what she was doing prior. You know, her run in the New Zealand Oaks was first class. Her lead up was great as well. So again, she's finding a race where, you know, she just seems to be beautifully placed in this. I think she's a big contender, and I couldn't find one to beat her in there either. So I've put her on top with a little bit of bias, of course, but hoping. But yeah, I think she's a great chance.
Yeah, look, she was valued at $3.60, a little bit short at the $2.80. Look, Andrew can travel a horse. Look, it's not an overly strong race when you see the ratings, and she's on top. It doesn't normally happen. New Zealand horses go to a race like this.
Exactly.
No, not at all. And then we also have Lisa Ladder's charge as well in race number 8, the Gold Coast Guineas and Platinum Pantheon. There he is at $27, just pushing out slightly from 26s. James McDonald to ride the favourite here, Beedman, at $3.50. So is looking at some value. But I mean, if you look at him in the Cambridge Breeders' Stakes, which we can take you back to with him finishing second, this was a really nice effort. He's a key
Well, you can make a case that he should have run second. You could make a case that he may have won. Sam had no luck down the straight. She was in and out looking for runs. He had a bad gate. This week we get our ex-Kiwi jockey Mark Duplessis on. Barrier 6. He's on the drift. He's going to get out to a backable price. He's going to probably get out to 35s, 32s. And look, he can go right-handed as well. I think the tight turning track will suit him. Look, he's not without his chance.
Yep, massive in the Cambridge Breeders' Stakes. Runs the quickest lace 8.64 and 2 from last. It was an eye-catching effort. Just peaked on the run a little bit late, but you expect to leave a little bit in the tank heading to Australia. Yep. This is a stronger race. This is of the Kiwis horses we've spoken about. This is probably the strongest assignment. But she's going well, Bevan.
Oh, I think that's crazy money. Every performance this preparation has been really, really strong. This is a quick horse when it lets go. I don't think it should have got as close as it did, actually, at Te Rapa. It didn't have any luck. They decided to go back from the gate. And then it was just a nice horse on speed who took advantage of that and was in a fresh state and kicked away. And is it Drops of God that won that race? It is a real good horse going forward for Te Akau, no doubt about it. But I think Platinum Pantheon's run was the match, at least. And if it had been given a clear run, it might have been really interesting how that race actually did end up. So this is a horse going with the right profile. It's continuing to improve. It's very, very quick, Platinum Pantheon. And if you, well, hey, Wigmore was 51, Platinum Pantheon's 30-odd, so we might as well get another slice of that, Lethal.
Yeah, look, he's underrated. And look, last week we saw at the races there in Brisbane, it was heavy. And if it does rain, he's going to handle the track better than most in the race as well.
Who's the one for you, though?
Look, I'm going for the J-Mac, Peter Snowden, Beedman. This horse is probably maybe a little bit classier than most of these in this field, I thought. But if it does rain, definitely the ladder train horse. I'd have a little specky each way on that.
I went for a 100 to 1 chance from last time. That was Hillier. Did start in the Caulfield Guineas and drifted out to 100s, but ran really well for 5th, had run 3rd in the Start Stakes leading into that. So I thought it wasn't a bad form line. The 2 trials leading into this have both been very good.
Okay, that's what the team is liking, but go the Kiwis. Now we turn our attention to the Group 1 at Morphettville, the Goodwood, as we take a look at who heads up the betting. Ray Magnerio at $4.20, Flying for Fun at $5.50, and then Extra Galactic at $6, Tycoon Star at $7s too. So look, at obviously open the Group 1, Leith. Who just put the circle around to bet?
Yeah, I'm going for the New Zealand trained horse. Well, he's a Kiwi himself, Bryce Hayes, good bloke. Flying for Fun, just had no luck last start. Run into dead ends the whole way up the straight and nearly should have just went down on a small photo as well.
Yep, really nice run. I hope Bryce can go really well. Desert Lightning, former Kiwi in this race as well. I went with Watch Me Win. I thought the run in that Hawke Stakes, which I think is the main Adelaide lead-up, was terrific. Obviously drops the 4 kilograms there. And came from a mile back to run second in that race. So there was enough in that to say it can be competitive again.
Okay, Watch Me Win in the Group 1. That completes our look at Australia. Good luck to everybody involved with their contenders. As we now turn our attention to our bank builders. Yes, we need to build a good bank this weekend. Leith, who have you got for us to back?
Friday, Pip, Riverton is going to be a very heavy testing track, but the Robert Dennis trained runner in race 6, Ziggy Stardust. $2.90. Yeah, just run that for your multis for the early start on Fridays into Saturday.
Love that you've done your Riverton form, Leith, former Pike horse, of course. For me, I've gone with EMAC, so that goes up against your Pura Sangway from earlier on. It was a 6-length trial winner at Tauranga last month. Big Home Whistler, who came out and won at Pukekohe, so on that trial really does have to rate.
I'm taking you to Sunday, actually. First jumps day of the season out of the River City. Nice program there. There's a horse here called He's a Monty for Ashley Meadows. First 2 runs in this preparation have both been very good. Over ground last time at Tauhara got back in the run. Made a nice performance to be chasing home Dancing Fantail, which is a great result for that training partnership. But I think second up, over ground, good gate, Johnny Riddell in the saddle. It'll go close. And the other one I did want to mention, there's a horse called Top of the Pack in race number 7, a 65, 13.60. It's fresh up. Its win on debut was enormous. Had one trial on a good track. It beat home Bold Bell. It's going into a 65, the source. Then it had a trial on a wet track the other day and they did very little on the source. They just held it in behind them. Top of the Back might just really stamp a mark on a Sunday and come out of sort of a midweek Sunday meeting and put itself in highlights. 3-old filly by Ace High, Top of the Pack. Nice horse.
Okay, friend to the punters, not 1 but 2 bank builders from Bevan Sweeney. Make sure you follow those in, and they're all at different meetings as well. From there, it is time for us to take another break, and off the other side, our best bets. So let's hope we've found you more winners for the weekend. To the form now. Before we get you the trainers' tips for the weekend and ours, we need a recap of what happened last weekend. I don't really want to look at this, to be honest, but as you can see, Toronto, Leith, very nicely done.
Yeah, I think that's about 5 in a row for me, Pip. I'm on a heater at the moment. Toronto was good.
Yeah, well, it was a really nice win from a horse who was beautifully placed too.
You could never count, Leith, let's be honest. It was only 5 hits with the stick, not 7. So just remember you're counting. Hey, the bank builder, one creation, so if you back them both, we'll make a profit.
Yeah, absolutely. Get involved there. But for now, what about your race form? If you want to pick up this week's edition, the favourite for the ITM Stakes does grace it in Kitty Flash. So let's see if she can be one of those rare winners that grace the race form. But do make sure you pick it up. All of the fields in there, including those Australian races. But for now, we're going to get back out to the track, find out what our track work tips are for the upcoming weekend.
We'll go rating 65, 1400 Rotorua, Accentuate.
Yeah, my only runner this week. She won last start very impressively, and look, I think she'll be very competitive again wherever she goes.
Better give us a name.
Mira D'Argento.
I'll go with a 3-year-old called Arthur in the 3-year-old 1400 metre race. He's fresh up. As long as track conditions don't get too testing, I think off the back of his barrier trial at Waipa, he'll be very competitive.
Just a quick one this time, Maiden. What happened there?
I'm not going to throw my
Did you have a
cameraman
late
under
start?
the
Late
bus.
starts for the morning, eh?
Yeah, so we just couldn't get to Mata Mata, unfortunately, just with the timings.
Okay, but we can see there's a few in race 5, 2 of them actually there. Could be a nice
Yeah, so
winner,
our man's
actually. I
got
thought it
on the
was a
phone
main
now,
danger.
our man Mark Wells, who produces our show, so he's got on the phone and got a few extra ones there for us, so hopefully you can find one at Rotorua. He didn't ring any CD trainers, though, I noticed.
Accentuate, I like it in the last split up from the Windsor Park stud, 3-odd in the first race getaway, so yeah, good value.
Okay, there you go. Accentuate in the 9th. Leaf throwing that one out as well. And speaking of bets, I mean, we should listen to him. He's on fire. It's time for our best bets, Leaf. Go on, keep the roll going. What are you liking?
Oh, I'm just looking up here. Half yours in the Holiday Stakes Group 2 race. It's on the drift. Open at $3 out to $3.80. They're coming from Birdman at $5. J Mac, Chris Waller. But look, half yours last start. It was the red light was flashing. Best thing about this horse has been based up there for the last 2.5 weeks as well. Bowler County galloped really good at Sandown. And you just love seeing these Melbourne Cup horses coming back and winning a race like this. At 1,800 metres, look, his last start over 1,400 metres in the Group 1, he was hitting the line. And look, he'll be spot on for this week, Tony McAvoy and Calvin, trained runner.
Okay, for me, race 5 at Rotorua, going with Morning Coco. Just really like what we're sort of seeing from these form lines. Actually, it was race 6. He'd run second at Ellerslie. It was, I thought, a stronger race last time out. Fleeting Glimpse and Hakata Bay have both come out of this race and been winners since. It was pretty good just considering the race shape, and a horse who has tactical speed, handles any track conditions as well. So Morning Coco at a nice price, I think around $4.50.
I'm going to take you to Wanganui again on Sunday. It is race number 5 on the program and a horse called Rock All Night. I was with it as my best bet on its debut, and it's just a little unlucky. Just couldn't quite get clear. Got leant on by the Cambridge stud horse. Sierra Leone had a little bit of moxie up at this stage and was well in front. He's kicked back really strongly. It isn't the weakest race that Rock All Night will find, but I think this horse going forward will be a horse who is going to win more than a couple of races. So Rock All Night, race 5, Whanganui.
You might need some Morning Cocoa over here at Rock All Night, as I take you to my best bet, and that, of course, is War Queen out of Rotorua. Keen that Curtis Pertab likes her as well. Thought it was a really nice run last start at Ellerslie when finishing second. She does step up a little bit in trip, but, I mean, she's put in 2 very good efforts. Her first 2 starts back. I think she goes home a winner, and I see she's had a bit of specking as well already in the 5th. Here is a summary. War Queen for myself, Morning Cocoa for Aidan, half yours for Lee, Giorgio Denario at Ashburton, race number 1 there for the Whale, and Rock All Night for Bevan. And speaking of Mr. Sweeney, you must be very pleased to be back at Hastings very shortly, Sweens, with that upcoming meeting.
Yeah, the 21st, we're in play, so it'll be fantastic to be there. I'm going to whip up and bring you the coverage. It's just a 6-race meeting, as I understand, but they ran trials through last week there. That was successfully held. Look, all I've heard is positive through that track. They had all the senior track managers there, I understand, to look through it. The riders came back and said that the track was in good nick. Now, it did clearly plough up with a little bit of rain around, so it's been given a little bit of time to settle in. It'll be interesting to go up there and show people how much they have lifted the camber there as you come down the home straight and out of the home straight. Apparently, you know, it's quite a markable lift up, so we'll be showing you that. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, and I've said this before, everything going forward, we'll have some of that spring racing back at Hastings. But I know the trainers in that part of the world are very relieved to be up and going. And look, it'll be interesting to see, and I'm not sure what the boys' thoughts are around Waipukurau. I thought their meeting the other day, again, was fantastic. The community's really supported it. Kirsty Lawrence and her team have been fantastic. There's been big crowds there. The racing's been good. Surely there's no reason they don't keep a couple of licences going forward, even with the return of Hastings to senior racing.
Yeah, obviously it's great for the Hawke's Bay area to get their local meeting back. Like you said, Sweens, Waipukurau, everyone turns up, they enjoy themselves, let them go, have their meetings, no problem here.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's all good things really. The racing in Hawke's Bay, can't wait to be back there, and that does complete the form for another week. Thank you for watching. As always, Leith, thank you for your input. I'm sure you found us more winners. As always to you, Aidan, thanks very much. And you, Bevan Sweeney, enjoy Waverley on the weekend. Until then, we'll catch you back next week. Good luck to everybody with contenders this weekend.